Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and change. If it's Tuesday, that can mean only one thing. We are still digging out of the snow in frigid Ohio, and Duane Long is here. Duane, how goes it?
You know how it goes with me with weather's like this? I have grown. Dan, I used to be the cold weather monster when I was a young guy. Now, I absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Hibernation is the key word here in Ohio. Also, recruiting. The number one player in Ohio in the class of 2023 is Luke Montgomery, two-way lineman from Findlay, Ohio, who will play offensive line in college. He happens to have a younger brother who just finished a tremendous season as a freshman quarterback, but we digress. Luke has announced that February 17th will be his date to let us all know where he's going to college. He will do so on the mothership here at CBS. His finalists read like a who's who, though we've long felt this was a classic Midwest battle between Ohio State, Michigan, and Notre Dame. Findlay High School is 90 miles from Ann Arbor and 93 miles from Columbus. We're pretty confident he's going to end up in Columbus. But it has been a very close recruitment. Michigan has been in it, and I can tell you for a fact, the Michigan staff has thought they really have been in it. What do you think will happen, and your thoughts on Montgomery as a prospect?
Well, I think Buckeyes are going to get him. As far as what kind of talent he is, Dan, I actually think right now maybe he's going to develop into a better offensive lineman. But he is an outstanding defensive lineman. I really would like to see him at least get a look on defense. He's just better on defense right now. It's just that simple. But either way, this is a no-brainer. He's an elite kid, and there's never too many linemen. So you take him and worry about where he ends up later.
Like I said, it's definitely helpful that if he commits to Ohio State, his younger brother is going to be a big-time quarterback prospect. He's going to play offensive line, at least to start out at Ohio State. He was a real two-way threat. This past season, I think he focused more on the offensive line. Very encouraging that the announcement of his date came soon after his meeting with Justin Fry, as the new offensive line coach for Ohio State has made quite an impression on the trail so far. Definitely something you want to be following on the site. Bill's bringing out new names almost daily. Keep in mind, when you have a new staff, you're going to have new faves, and they are all over it. Moving on here to a quick peek at next season, and you're starting to see these lists come out, but ESPN has released its two early All-American team for the next season. C.J. Stroud was the runner-up to Bryce Young, obviously, but Ohio State was the only team to have a running back, Travion Henderson, a wide receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and an offensive lineman on the crew, DeJuan Jones. And like we said, the runner-up at quarterback, nobody on defense. At the end of the year, if another Buckeye, offense, defense, or special teams landed along with that quartet, who do you think it's going to be?
I have to look at Zach Harrison. The second half of the season, he was as good as we thought he was going to be. We were thinking first rounder, maybe second rounder. In the first half of the season, he didn't look anything like that. I don't know if he should have started, but he just really did not look like he was interested in playing football the first half of the season. I think it's very interesting that he missed the game, and you can't tell with when it comes to Day because he is so secretive with injury stuff. Maybe it was COVID. We don't know. I just know that when he came back from that, he was a completely different animal. I believe that he can be. He is a prototype, physically and as an athlete. If he plays as motivated as he did the second half of last season, he's certainly going to be an All-American in the first rounder.
I don't think anybody could argue that from a talent perspective, but I'm at the point now where I've got to see him do it consistently. Yes, he was much better down the stretch. There's some real good depth behind him. So I'd be a little bit worried if I was Zach Harrison. If I didn't come out with my hair on fire, then I'm going to get buried behind a younger player. I hope you're right, Duane. We'll take a quick break, come back, and talk about some other interesting developments at a school you've all heard of. We are back. We discussed earlier that we think Luke Montgomery is going to choose Ohio State over Michigan. What is going on at Michigan is, to my eyes, unprecedented. After Ohio State has owned them for longer than a decade, Michigan broke through this past year and celebrated by Jim Harbaugh attempting to get an NFL job, it seemed like. The defensive coordinator, Mike McDonald, returned to his roots at the Ravens to work for Jim's brother. Offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis left for Miami, which is surprising. But even more surprising, he hammered Harbaugh in the media. It's usually verboten. So now they're going to be back. Michigan is, at least with Harbaugh, a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, some just weird vibes surrounding the program. It's almost like Harbaugh, after breaking through this year, wanted to hold Michigan's powers that be's feet to the fire because they messed with his contract and may have cut off his nose to spite his face. Your thoughts on what's gone on up there?
Weird vibe. You use the right expression. That's just come off your best season in how many years? Double digits? I mean, really, when you consider that not only did they beat Ohio State, they made the playoff, and your offensive coordinator bugs out, and that's, don't call it a sideways move. Michigan you're stepping down. You're at Michigan, you go to Miami. Miami had that run when it was just from Schnellenberger through Jimmy Johnson, and they had that run. People don't realize Miami at that before Howard Schnellenberger, they were considering shutting down the football program. Yeah, it's just a fact. That's how bad they were. And they've had that run, and since then it's just been hit and miss, have a halfway decent season, come back and have two bad ones. So that was a step down. Don't try to tell me it's not. And he chose to make that decision and then lit Harbaugh up. Come on, man. Something's and what happened with Harbaugh? He tried. Don't say that Minnesota went out of their way. He wanted that job. When he went back the second time to talk to them, why? Why? Because he wanted to lobby for that job. He beat Ohio State. He knows this is as good as it's going to get. And there's already rumblings that it may be time. Some people thought it's time for Harbaugh to go. It's time. Now he starts down a path again where he can't beat Michigan State, he can't beat Penn State, and he can't beat Ohio State, especially after going and not getting that job. And don't tell me it was him that said, no, thanks. There's no reason for him to go back there a second time and talk to them unless he really wanted that job.
Yeah, I guess it's just par for the course. This is a bizarre guy, and he's made some bizarre decisions. Whatever momentum was generated from the win over Ohio State feels like they've lost it, and we've gone back to Harbaugh kind of being a clown. All right, Duane, the next time you're on this podcast, we will know who the world champions of football are. Will it be Joe Burrow and the Bengals or the Rams?
It's going to be the Rams. I just don't. The Bengals gave up how many sacks last Sunday? 10, 9, 10. And the Rams defense is better. I don't see the Bengals. It was not an AFC year. It was going to be the NFC champion. I thought San Francisco would come through that, and they almost did. At first, at the end of the regular season, nobody is playing better than Dallas. Dallas dismantled Philadelphia. It was embarrassing. Last game of the season, Dallas has really, I believe, the most complete team in the NFC, maybe in the league when you look at both offense and defense. And I don't know what the hell happened there. But anyway, I've said this as long as I've been with Bucknuts, win championships with defensive line and quarterback. Cincinnati's got the quarterback. They got the better quarterback. but they don't. That defensive line from the Rams is just going to eat the Bengals offensive line, and Burrow is going to come out of there needing a lot of ice packs, I believe, and the Rams will win it.
Cincinnati at times looks like Ohio State West. That said, who do you think Dwayne Haskins is rooting for this weekend? We appreciate Dwayne stopping by. Have a good one, Bucknutters.